In less than 2 years' time, the eyes of the world will descend on East London as the city plays host to the greatest festival in sport. And here in the Docklands, the countdown to 2012 continues with the 14th edition of the biggest triathlon ever created. Welcome to the Challenger World London Triathlon. As one of the most well-established triathlons on the global calendar, this event has a reputation that's attracted an array of world champions, and not just those from the sport of triathlon. As if to maintain the 2012 theme, the race has gathered Olympians past, present and hopefully future, all of whom can help preserve the original Games mantra that it's the taking part, not the winning, that counts. Well, their chance to prove it begins with a dip in the Royal Victoria Dock. To have all 13,500 on one course at the same time isn't practical, so competitors set off in 35 separate start waves of a few hundred each, depending on age group and race distance. Most take on the Olympic distance, which means a 1,500-metre swim to start. After that, there's the spectacle of the world's biggest transition before a 40k bike ride that takes in the landmarks of London. It all ends with a 10k run around the docks here at Excel and takes 2 to 3 hours for most, though some world-class elites are here and they'll be much faster than that. There's also the shorter sprint distance, which is half the length of the Olympic course on all disciplines. And relays are available for those who are less fit, perhaps less masochistic, or for those who just have a lot of friends. While the pros race for prestige and prize money, there are more than 10,000 amateur triathletes who have to balance busy and in some cases fast-moving jobs, none more so than Formula One world champion Jenson Button. He was second out of 419 competitors last year in the 25 to 29-year-old age group. He's back this year hoping to improve on an already impressive 2:07. It won't be easy. Button uses the mid-season break to indulge his triathlon passion before heading off for holiday. He'll be racing Olympic distance and, like the best in his wave, is capable of a time not too far off the pro triathlete pace. A minor dose of tonsillitis just before the race will make things even tougher, but Jenson is going for it.
Difficult. Every day I've been getting better, but I'm still struggling with my glands and sore throat. So the most important reason why I'm here is because I'm a patron of Make-A-Wish Foundation, and I've been trying to raise as much money for the kids as I can. So looking forward to today. So many people cheering everyone on, and it's very special.
In a green hat for no other reason than to enable us to pick him out. Thanks, Jenson. Now it's time for the green flag. Jenson's not the only motorsport idol in this race. Teen MotoGP sensation Bradley Smith is in the same start wave and hopes to beat Button. He didn't manage it when they met here last year, but with another 12 months of training, things could be different this time.
I haven't done an Olympics since. This will be my second one, so it's kind of like an annual event for me. But I've been training fairly hard. Today will be an interesting contest, and yeah, looking at all the bikes here, it's going to be great fun.
Jenson makes a great start, though Bradley's no more than a few strokes behind. And he's not the only two-wheeled speed demon on site. When the elites hit the dock later, Victoria Pendleton will be the official starter.
I find the swimming bit the most amazing because swimming in open water must be so hard, and I am awful at swimming. I find it just so difficult. So I've got so much respect for them to do all three events, and it gets a bit like a lot of contact out there, and they're all crashing into each other. It looks like hard work to me.
Another Beijing gold medalist, Tim Brabants, will get a close-up look at the elite swim when he paddles the lead kayak later on. A great location for the event here, isn't it? And it's one that's really well supported by the crowd.
Really good. I mean, when you hear on the water especially, you can hear all the crowd, so you know the swimmers are being well supported. The transition area here is really open, and it's quite a unique place in that respect for triathlons. The spectators can really get stuck in and watch the transition and follow the race.
Well, do you think many years from now when you've retired, triathlon might be the kind of thing that you have a go at?
Yeah, definitely. I think it is the kind of sport that I would be definitely drawn to. At the moment, I'm kind of restricted to what I'm allowed to do. So it definitely does tick all the boxes.
One of 3 boxes ticked for Jenson as he hits the shore in 23:56. A great time, but Bradley Smith's just 6 seconds behind and much closer to Jenson than he was last year. No pit crew in this race, so speed in transition could make the difference of who hits the bike track first. Jensen's leading on the road to the turn at Westminster, but there's still well over an hour in the saddle for Bradley, the two-wheel specialist, to bite back. While the motorsport men are battling against a high-standard field, triathlon is a sport for all, and 50% of the field here are first-timers. Presenter Vernon Kay has been training all year for this moment.
Now, whose idea was this? Well, I interviewed Jensen before the Formula One season, or at the end of the Formula One season, and he said, "Oh, I'm doing this triathlon." I said, "Oh, well, I'll tell you what, I will do the run with you, and I will carry a box of, you know, for change, so people can sponsor him, and as we go around, I'll collect the money." And he's like, "Yeah, okay then." So originally I was only supposed to do the run, and then he went on Jonathan Ross on Friday, found out with Jonathan Ross, and Jonathan said, "Well, I'll beat you, Jensen, and I'll beat you, I'm Vernon Kay." I was like, "Well, if Jonathan's going to do the whole thing, I'll do the whole thing." And Jonathan is not doing it. So I'm here on my Jack Jones while Jonathan's having a whale of a time with his wife and kids. You know what I mean? Like, thank you very much, Jonathan Ross.
So have you got a rough idea of when we can expect to see you out of the water, off the bike, or an overall time?
Yeah, overall, I want to do it under 3 hours.
A long way to go for Vernon yet, and it's a long way from the kitchen sink dramas of a famous Yorkshire Valley to the Dockland dramas of the London Triathlon. But 3 actors from Emmerdale are also drawing attention, racing on sprint distance.
Excited? Yes, nervous as you like. Come on. Oh, let's get it, let's do it, let's get this.
Into the same wave is former European 400-metre champion Ewan Thomas. After a difficult triathlon debut at Blenheim, he's hoping for an improvement here. He may not be challenging the world anymore, but there's always someone to take on.
You know, I just wish, you know, I was 15 years younger and still competing, but that's not the case. But for me, this is my new competition, you know, to challenge myself and do great events like this.
You look quite pumped up for this.
I'm always pumped up, you know, down the gym. No, I'm always pumped up. I just want to better myself, and anything I do, I want to try and be as good as I can be. And you've told me off camera what your personal best is for the sprint event, so that's my target, Rob. That's my target.
OK, so you've set yourself a target of 1:18. That's going to require a decent run, I think.
I think I'm going to have to run definitely sub 20 and make my swim at least 2 minutes better than I've ever done. I'm going to have to pull out all the stops to beat you.
Ewan's out of the water in 16 minutes. He'll have to go well on the 20k bike and 5k run to hit his target. The Woolpack trio are just targeting the finish line, but the swim's left its mark.
How you feeling?
Got cramp in my calf muscles. Apart from that, I'm fine.
Onto the cycle, man. Should be all good. Sustenance first. Take it easy.
The starts are coming thick and fast now, with the sprint distance relays about to set off. Everyone's up for it, but some are Olympians with serious intentions, saving their energy for the race. Well, I'm joined by 3 women hoping to break the sprint relay record. Cassie Patton will do the swim, Rebecca Romero will be on the bike, and it'll all finish with Emily Pidgeon on the 5k run. Cassie, let's start with you. Bronze medal over the 10k in open water 2 years ago, so 750 really will be a doddle.
Yeah, it's going to be a sprint for me. When we do the 10k, it's not even 1 lap, so I mean it's even less than what I normally race in the pool. I normally race 800 in the pool, so you know it's going to get in there nice and fast and furious, and then hopefully I'll hand over well for Rebecca for the cycling.
Taking on the swim twice, once with Jensen Button just for the fun of it, and this time for the record attempt. Cassie charges from the water in 9 minutes 23, on schedule for that 1 hour 5 team target, but facing another sprint up into transition for the handover to Rebecca Romero. Rebecca herself is just a blur to the other bikers in the opening stages, especially to the 7 men from the Royal Engineers riding this contraption to raise money for the Soldiers' Charity. We can't quite work out the word for a 7-seater tandem, but there's no doubt it's the slowest and biggest bike on the course. The Batmobile, however, seems to have lost weight. It's hard work for this superhero, otherwise known as Mike Griffiths, but just like Jensen Button, he's contributing to the huge amount this event raises for charities, over $2 million in 2009 and going well this year. It's a motivation Jensen needs today.
Struggling.
But he's extended his lead over Bradley Smith as they take on the hairpin at Big Ben. Jensen's a minute up, but there's a lot of hard work still to do. Also on full Olympic distance and still on course for his sub-3 hour finish, Vern is definitely feeling the burn.
How are you feeling?
I'll tell you in about 50 minutes. So far, so good.
Rebecca Romero's bike split of 31.45 is strong from the sprinter. A 20k bike is 17 further than she needed for gold in Beijing.
It's a new distance for me, obviously one that I don't excel at greatly, but I just see what I can do to kind of be the link between the two and passing on to Emily for the run.
OK, Emily, you've got the glory leg, or the pressure leg, whichever way you want to look at it. 5k, that's your distance, former European junior 5,000 metre champion, so we're expecting good things from you at the end.
Well, yeah, I hope so. I'm in a great team, so hopefully I've just got to keep it going, really. I'm used to the distance, so it should be OK. Everyone trains for the track, but when you're on the road, you get a lot more, you know, you get more give back from the road and stuff, so you can run a bit faster, so it should be good. I'm looking forward to it.
Emily needs a good final 5,000 metres to be sure of the record. She starts off fast, possibly too fast, and this is going to be close. With 1 hour 2 minutes for his Olympic distance 40k bike ride, Jensen is near the top of his age group, and he's gained 2 minutes on Bradley Smith on the closing stages of the bike as they go into the 4-lap 10-kilometre run.
Come on, work it. You can catch it.
Smith completed the Alpe d'Huez triathlon just a week before, the race that has a legendary 115-kilometre Tour de France alpine bike stage right in the middle. And maybe he's feeling that in his legs now, almost as much as Jensen's feeling the effects of his illness. They'll both need every drop of support on the run course, as will Ewan Thomas as his 5-kilometre sprint distance run approaches. It's a long way for a man whose idea of a sprint used to be 400 metres on the track.
2 years from now, East London will be buzzing with the Olympic vibe, and events like this do give you a little flavour of what's to come, don't they?
They give you a taster, I think, for how well we can organise events in this country. I mean, down in the transition area, it's down to a T. It's so organised. You know, I'm saying that now. I haven't got an excuse if I run the wrong way now. But no, I think London's going to be amazing.
Can you sense, as an athlete, the vibe around the country, not just in London, that there's a genuine excitement growing ahead of the Olympics?
Definitely, and it's really good to see all the youngsters out here as well. I think they're looking forward to it. They're going to have fantastic facilities when the Olympics are done, and hopefully it'll be inspiration to them and really help them to push on and achieve their goals.
Emily Pidgeon has goals for 2012, but she's also got targets to achieve today. And on the last lap, it's no certainty that the relay record will be broken, though with a final surge, she takes the team over in a comfortable 1 hour, 3 minutes 45.
Emily, you did it.
Yes, I'm really pleased. That was really hard. The girls did so well, so I went out a bit too hard, I think, but I was, you know, the adrenaline, I wanted to go out fast, and I think I went out a bit too hard. I was dying a bit.
Rebecca, how was the cycle for you?
I mean, Cassie did an excellent swim and just gave me that head start.
I absolutely loved it. At the beginning, there was loads of people with me, and I was like, oh my goodness, I'm going to have to really pull it up here. And no, it was a great swim, and the transition, which I was so worried about, went really smoothly, and I really enjoyed it. Yeah, it's been a really good day.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Well done.
As he crosses the line, did Ewan Thomas, also on the sprint course, achieve his goal of beating 1 hour 18?
That looked tough, fella. That looked tough.
Fell off the bike, which didn't help. Just as the marshal said, go steady here, it's slippy. Bang, I went down.
It must have taken quite a lot of momentum out of you when you went down.
I think more than anything, it knocked my confidence a little bit, if I'm perfectly honest with you. Like, I didn't expect to fall off a bike. It's the first time I've come off a bike on a road, and it's a little bit scary. Then I couldn't get back on the bike, so I had to run in from there. Good crash. First bike crash.
He's still smiling, but still short of his goal.
I'm going to do some training and come back and hopefully finish strong, because it hurts when you're not fit. Swimming lessons, stabilisers, I'm there.
Bradley Smith hasn't needed stabilisers on his bike for a few years, but he might need another year before he can beat Button, who crosses the line slower than 12 months ago, but still an impressive third in his age group.
I got through it, I got round, and it's just a great atmosphere here. 13,000 people put themselves through a lot of pain, and a lot of them do it for charity, so yeah, fair play to them, a lot of respect.
How was it, fella?
By the looks of my face, tired. I was closer to Jensen this time, and I felt, you know, my swim and my run was a lot better. Bike was probably the same, but yeah, really enjoyed it, and it's just, you know, such an atmosphere. It was great.
Those final 4 Olympic distance laps are going to feel like a long way for a suffering Vernon Kay.
I understand you've had a few words from Jensen Button, who said, let pain become your friend. Yeah, that's my mantra. Let pain become your friend. And I've been working closely recently with the Royal Marines, and one of those guys said, if you're struggling with pain, all you've got to do is build a house brick by brick, and it'll take you out of the space that you're in mentally, and it'll separate the pain from your mind. So today I'll be building a housing estate.
Hello, folks.
Hey.
How you doing?
Come on.
Oh, knackered. It's all good fun though. Got to keep me dad going. Come on, son.
Yeah. Come on, son.
How are you feeling?
I look quite exhausted, but I'm still going well.
You enjoying yourself, though?
Hey?
You enjoying yourself?
Oh yeah, good experience. Definitely doing it next year. If I survive this one.
Well, plenty more still to come, including Big Vern's attempt to drive on to the finish.
Come on,
see you in a few minutes. Welcome back to the Challenger World London Triathlon. The elite race is still to come. But first, let's get back out on the course and see how the rest of our celebrities are enjoying a very different type of day in the spotlight. While triathlon debutant Vernon Kay makes his painful way ever closer to the finish, experienced marathon runner Tom Lister, aka Carl King of Emmerdale, leads a trio of stars from the Yorkshire Soap to the finish line.
Really different. It wasn't like an endurance race, it was just like all of your body was just shot by the end, and oh, that was hard work.
It's so tough when you come off the bike, isn't it? Because it just feels like there's nothing in your legs at all.
Well, it was a swim. All your face is just full of water and people's feet in the way. And that was just a joy to get out of the water and get on the bike.
Well, you've got the bragging rights because Lyndon and Mark are still out on course.
Here he is now. Here he is. Come on.
Nicely done, man.
Well, you look like you've got a lot left in the tank.
Final sprint, that was amazing. Absolutely brilliant fun. I'm shattered now, but yeah, it was brilliant fun.
Was it harder than you thought it would be?
The swim was, but the cycle was nice. That run at the end, I'm glad I saved a little bit for the final bit at the end, but it was brilliant.
Will we be seeing you guys again on the triathlon circuit in the future?
Yeah,
absolutely. I think we'll try the Olympic next year.
Let's try the full one next year, definitely. Brilliant stuff.
And there are, of course, those who go for Olympic distance on their debut. Vernon, 2:49, superb effort. You've got to be pleased with that.
Really pleased. I mean, I expected, well, I didn't expect, I wanted under 3 hours. First triathlon. To be honest with you, the discipline that I thought I would be pretty decent at let me down. That was the run. I had a little bit of cramp at the start of the run, and fought through that. And then it's just the people cheering you on. I know it's a cliche and people say, oh, all the people shouting you, it really gives you an extra 10%. And it does, it really does. I'm over the moon. I feel like I've had the best night out in Ibiza. That's how happy I am right now. It's amazing.
The elite races are the climax of any London Triathlon weekend. With the promise of British Triathlon Super Series points, a good prize purse and the prestige that comes with winning the world's biggest triathlon, there's always a top turnout. This year is no different, with former world champion Tim Don, reigning London champion Will Clark, as well as Ollie Freeman and Stuart Hayes amongst those from the UK. There are also some top visitors, Aussie Courtney Atkinson and world duathlon champion Jared Shoemaker from the States. There's also a former world champion among the women. Helen Jenkins dominated this race last year and is ready to reign again.
Everything's been going really well. I started the season off a little bit slow, but it's all been coming on since then. I've had 3/3 in my last 3 races, so that's been good. So I'd like to either be second or first. After a bit of a slow start, everything's just been, training's been going really well and the racing's been going really well. So I'm looking forward to tomorrow, but I'm going to have some stiff competition from the other British girls, I think.
Victoria Pendleton fires the klaxon and they're smoothly away. The main competition for Jenkins will be familiar to followers of this triathlon.
A couple of seconds, and I think I've had a third before, so I've had all the podium places except for the win, so that would be lovely, but I've got some stiff competition. I think sometimes we get stuck in our own little bubble, like going to these World Championship events, but then you come here and just see so many people that are so excited about it, and you go, oh, this is what it's really about, and it's good fun, we love being here.
With Tim Brabants watching from the lead kayak, Helen Jenkins is building an impressive lead over Blatchford. It won't be easy for those chasing the 2009 champion today.
Well, I'd like a good hard race with all 3 disciplines. I don't want to just wait for the run. I'd rather have a good hard swim and a good hard bike. Last year we had a good group of few of us working on the bike, so if we can have a situation like that again, that would be great. So, so everyone has to work hard. It's not just a running race then.
Well, the elite women approaching the end of the swim and an expectant crowd gathered waiting to see who will be first out of the water and into transition 1. And with a quality field like this, making the first pack on the bike is almost essential. Let's hand over to our commentary team, Patrick Winterton and Annie Emerson.
Thanks, Rob, and welcome to the water, where Helen Jenkins has had a fantastic swim yet again. Opened up a little bit of clean water between herself and the chasing pack. And this is just the start that she would have wanted.
Yeah, definitely. I'm surprised not to see Kerry Lang there and Vicky Holland, who are 2 very good swimmers as well. But obviously Helen having a very strong swim and a great transition as well.
Well, the transition here in London slightly different. They have to get the wetsuit off before they head into the XL arena, and that's to keep the water out of the arena, make it a little bit safer. And away goes Jenkins, very calm. No flapping, no mistakes, and all in all, the perfect start to her race. Liz Blatchford, one of the favourites here to take a top spot.
Yeah, we know she's had a couple of injury problems, but she started her race off well. Still surprised not to see her a bit closer to Helen.
Yeah, she's had cortisone injections in her hip recently. We'll see how she gets on. The run is where she may come unstuck. Now the chasing group all heading out of the water, and a clean T1 transition is what they need to try and close the gap down on Jenkins. Jenkins having a really good look over her shoulder. She's now got to decide what to do.
Yeah, she's gauging how close the other girls are, and does she go it alone or does she wait for them and ride as a pack? But she's having a lovely transition, and what's happening here is she's doing it very calmly and just starting the race off really nicely, not having to panic, not have to race or catch up to anyone.
Well, 18:52 the time in the water for Jenkins. She's got some 10-11 seconds over Blatchford, but she's 30 seconds clear of the rest of the field, and she now has to decide whether she's going to try and make a break on the bike. Blatchford also, she's in no man's land. Does she go and try and catch Jenkins, or does she drop back and cycle with the pack that will inevitably form? Away goes Jenkins, and she's going pretty hard initially.
And this is the woman she's going to have to stay away from, Jodie Stimpson. We know she's a great biker and a very good runner.
Well, Stimpson never backs away from doing the work in a group. There's Vicky Holland, had a few thrills and spills this year on the series. Let's hope she can stay on the bike this time round. Thorington is away, Heather Jackson also, Alicia Kay at the back of that group in the red tri-suit. And there is the race leader, Helen Jenkins, looking very, very good indeed. Liz Blatchford is chasing, and I think she's going to opt to join the chasing group rather than cycle on her own, and as expected, it is Jodie Stimpson who is pushing the pace in the chase group, trying to hunt down Jenkins, who's working her way out of Limehouse Tunnel for the first time.
Well, the women's bike rack is empty because they're all out on the roads, but some pretty fancy wheels waiting for the elite men. Let's see who's got the mental stamina to match their machines. Amongst the all-star cast is Tim Don, 06 world champion, 07 London winner, and fresh from a win against the world's best at Des Moines, where he picked up the biggest payout in the sport. Tim, really intriguing race this weekend. Are you looking forward to it?
Oh yeah, I love racing in London, and you know, any race in the city, in any city centre in the world with closed roads is awesome. But to have it in your own backyard, riding past Tower Bridge and up to Big Ben, it's going to be pretty smart.
You've had a great season so far. We saw you win Blenheim. You won High V recently, so things are going pretty well.
Yeah, I'm really happy with where I am at the moment. My form's been good. I've been able to back it up, you know, not just in one race, but in 3 or 4. So I'm really excited.
Don's a great runner, as are Atkinson and Shoemaker, but it's often a tactical race here in London, and Stuart Hayes, another past winner here, knows how to work those tactics to his advantage.
Obviously, I like to try and get around the bike so people think I'm flying. I'm not actually flying, I just like to take a risk. Most people, they come out to swim, they're just happy just to sit there and wait for the run. But I like to try and mix it up a bit. I like to try and tire legs out, and I mean, every year there's decent athletes here. I'd love to win here. I'm from London, so it's my hometown. Now we've got 2 London races, so I get 2 chances. But to me, this is number 1, and I really want to do well.
American Dusty McClarty takes the applause for leading out of the Royal Victoria Dock. A great swim, but still 9 short of Richard Stannard's total of swim wins here. With it being only a matter of time before the pack pick him off, let's rejoin Annie and Patrick.
Well, that's a great swim from McClarty, but here come the danger men, and there are some very, very quick cyclists and runners in this group. Daniel Hawksworth just going through after a good swim. He's earned himself a place in the main cycle pack. Ollie Freeman in 3rd, just behind him. Tim Don, a little push on the shoulder just to make sure he's got some free space, and into the transition, which is so important.
Yes, it is so important in this race because the transition area is so big and so much time can be lost. But it's always the same form here. Bag down, helmet on, pick up your bike and go.
So just a few seconds, away go some of the leaders. You saw Tim Don, Will Clark there, and Ollie Freeman is away cleanly. Shoemaker from the United States, an excellent runner. Well, that's an understatement. He's a brilliant runner, and if he can get onto this front group of cyclists, then he could be a danger man come the end of the day. Tim Don out of the arena, and he's already taken 30 seconds out of McClarty. An astonishing transition from Tim Don, and he's away.
Yeah, looking very, very strong. He's got a lot to prove. He's improved a huge amount compared to last year, Tim, and he's had some great results so far, and he'll be definitely going for the win here today.
Doing his turn at the front is Ollie Freeman, who was at his sister's wedding yesterday and has done well to have a good start as they head past the O2 Arena and other sites in London.
We won't be able to really concentrate on them, but yeah, it is a nice bike course. I mean, not very technical. So again, it's difficult to groups to get away and stay away because there's long straights where the chasing pack can see you.
Helen Jenkins still out on her own. 29 kilometres to go, 11 gone so far, up to the hairpin turn just before Big Ben, and this is where she'll get her first impression of whether she's managed to open the gap between herself and the chasers.
Yeah, she's certainly been riding very strongly, and as we can see, the chasers are very close. I've got a feeling that Helen might just sit up now and wait to join up with the pack from behind and have a little bit of a rest before they go out on the run.
Well, I think you're right, Annie. The cadence has already dropped from Jenkins, and another look over her shoulder just to see where the pack are, and she's going to allow them to catch her, and then I guess she has to re-strategize all over again.
Well, yes, to a degree, but we know that she's probably the strongest runner in this pack, so I've kind of got a feeling that she will just sit in now and enjoy the ride back to the Excel Centre.
Alicia Kay leading the way at the moment. Jodie Stimpson in 2nd place. Liz Blatchford, who was 2nd out of the water, lying in 3rd. And Helen Jenkins just getting into the middle of the group. She's done well not to go to the back, and she's so experienced, and of course with a world title from 2008. In the men's race, into Limehouse Tunnel, And McClarty's still there in the lead group. There's Will Clark looking very, very focused, but a huge question mark over his form at the moment.
Yeah, Will won last year, as we know, and he was in great form, but we haven't quite seen that form this year in the races that he's competed in.
I know he's a little bit concerned about his health as Tim Don draws alongside him. What a pleasure watching Tim Don race. He's got such a good work ethic as the leading group of 9 head out of Limehouse. Here are the leading women. And it's Helen Jenkins in front, just where she wants to be. Jodie Stimpson is going to match her inch for inch. Oh, down goes. I think that's Vicky Holland yet again. Now, a lack of concentration, and can you believe it? The pack have put the pace on. That is the end of Vicky Holland's chance today.
Yeah, they're not waiting for her, are they? That's sport for you, I guess. They've seen their opportunity there to drop one of the good runners in the pack.
And that leaves Jenkins, Blatchford, Stimpson at the front, and the pace really picking up at this year's London Triathlon.
Welcome back to the Challenger World London Triathlon. As you can see, this is the biggest swim, bike, run event of its kind anywhere in the world. And 2 years ahead of the Olympic Games, we've got some world-class performances out there on the course.
These 900 international competitors have raised over £500,000 for Ma Africa Tikkun, supporting orphans and vulnerable children in South Africa. There are many charities benefiting from today's efforts on the course, and there are some big efforts out there on all ability levels, as the elite competitors currently tearing up the road back to excel will appreciate.
You really get the vibe from all the other athletes. It's so good. You have people who are just doing their first race, like even if it's part of a team or part of a relay. It's just great to be competing on a level with, with everyone. It's from all levels of the sport.
Nobody quits at this triathlon. Even Vicky Holland pushes on after this bike crash that will definitely make it a long day for her. Kerry Lang leads the women into transition too, but Helen Jenkins and Jodie Stimpson must be favourites now with just the 10k run to come. Inspired perhaps by the sound of yet another wave warming up not far away, they're soon out on track and hunting Lang down. Soon it's only Jenkins and Jodie Stimpson up front. One of them will win this race, and on the first lap they're matching each other perfectly stride for stride. Team Dillon athlete Stimpson gets stronger every year, and 2010 is no exception. What would it mean to you to pick up a hat-trick of wins to go along with your victories in Paris and Blenheim?
Oh, to win at London would be amazing. I mean, I've got some of my family coming down as well, so I mean that makes it more special.
After one lap of 4, there's still no sign of weakness from either woman. There's no doubt who the top man has been on the bike stage, Stuart Hayes. Hayes has been calling the shots in a front pack of 11 riders, but if he's trying to tire everyone out, it won't work easily on Will Clark. The 2009 winner is making his presence felt as the men approach Westminster.
It certainly gives you a buzz coming in as defending champion. I've had a bit of a rough past few races, so I'm looking to really make amends here.
Clark won this race on the run last year after a thrilling battle with Courtney Atkinson and Stuart Hayes.
To an extent, it's who's got the best form, but also it's who wants it the most, and who's willing to put themselves on the line, who's mentally toughest. So, yeah, it's a tough sport, this one.
Another face-off with Clark on the run might be something Stuart Hayes is keen to avoid. The rest of the bike stage sees a non-stop series of attacks.
I always try on the bike. It doesn't always work. I mean, I try in every race, but sometimes the pack just won't let you go. And I'm going to do my best. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, well, at least I try, and it always pay off for the following week. And that's how you get stronger on the bike. If you keep practicing to try and get away, eventually, if it fails the first time, maybe 2 times later it will work.
Hayes goes again, gets caught, and goes again, until it's Clark's turn to attack. But there's still no breakaway. All this stop-start just sees the front pack of 11 caught by the second pack, and they become about 25. One man who's been preserving his energy is Australia's Courtney Atkinson, second to Clark here last year. Atkinson is often on the podium in World Series events, but he's been lying low in the pack today, just as he's been doing all season.
At some stage, normally you'll go through a rough patch, and that's unfortunately been my last month. But
I made a late decision to come here to race, and I think it'll be good for me in getting my form back. And look, I'm not really sure where I'm at form-wise, so I may surprise myself even. But I really think I'll just be out there trying to, hang on to the leaders and see what I can do against these British guys.
With 5k to go on the bike, 3 of those Brits finally get away. Hayes, Matt Sharp and Richard Stannard.
On the bike, Stewie and me have been in this race probably 13 years each. There's nothing different this year to any other year. If he goes and I can go with him, great. I'm anything that gets me further up the road, I need a lead going onto the run. But there's no, I'm not working with Stuart or anything. There's no plan. I mean, as I say, we've raced so many times. What's different this year? If you get a small pack, you work hard together and try and get a lead on the run.
Hayes wants every second he can have and is working his travelling companions hard. A bit too hard for Richard, who in the middle of a comeback season and short of fitness drops back to the main pack, though Sharp is clinging on by his fingernails as we pick up commentary with transition 2 approaching.
Stu Hayes into the arena first alongside Sharp, a man we certainly need to keep an eye on in the future, and they have got just about 30 seconds over the rest of the field, so an excellent finish to the bike ride. Is it going to be enough for Stu Hayes to hold on? He's a good runner, but he's not as quick as the likes of Tim Don and Will Clark.
I think 30 seconds is significant, but as you said, Tim Don's clocked 28.56 on the road for 10k this year, so it's going to be very hard for Stewie, I think, to stay away. But it's great to see him, making an effort and breaking up the pack.
Matt Sharp has decided he's had enough. Obviously doesn't want to do the 10k run. Stu Hayes is out onto the roads, and now it's up to the rest of the pack to hunt him down. The likes of Threlfall, De Villiers, Freeman, Clark.
And Courtney Atkinson just in a little behind, but he won't be hanging around. He's known for his speedy transitions.
Tim Don, helmet off. Shoes look a little bit tight. That's a couple of seconds thrown away. Courtney Atkinson has stolen a couple of seconds advantage over Tim Don. Those two likely to have a good fight on the run. Who else do we need to watch out for in the run?
Will Clark and Jared Shoemaker going through there in the red, but they're going to have to be on their best form if they're going to catch Stuart Hayes.
So it was plan A all the way for Hayes so far, but could he hang on 9 kilometres for the win? After 4k, Stimpson couldn't hang on to Jenkins anymore, and a gap was beginning to open up in the women's race. All calm and concentration from Jenkins. Hayes, however, was feeling the heat at the end of the first lap, where we rejoin the commentary.
That hard-earned lead from Stu Hayes is disappearing, and it's Will Clark, the defending champion, who's closing the gap between first and second. There's Courtney Atkinson, the Australian, who looks to be in very good shape indeed. Tim Don and Jared Shoemaker working together, and they're having to work very hard to close the gap down on the leaders.
Yeah, it's those few seconds that they've lost in transition that they're now having to make up, and that's quite hard.
Well, this is the leading 3. Stu Hayes out in front, but you feel it is temporary. Will Clark not looking as light on his feet as he was last year, and then Courtney Atkinson of Australia in 3rd position, and very, very comfortable as they come to the completion of the first of 4 laps on this last discipline here in London.
So with that surge from Atkinson, he was into the lead, and it was soon the same front 3 as last year on the run: Atkinson, Hayes and Clark. But Tim Don and the USA's Jared Shoemaker weren't in the race then. They were soon grinding their way back to the leaders. No easy task at this speed of racing. There was no way back for Jodie Stimpson though, with Jenkins very much on course. Amongst the men, Don and Shoemaker had made it a front pack of 5 and then 4 as Clark fell away. There would be a new champion this year, but it would be an awesome fight to decide those podium positions.
A very, very quick second lap from Tim Don and Jared Shoemaker. They have now joined the race leader, Courtney Atkinson, and 3 of the greatest runners in triathlon side by side as they head out on the 3rd of 4 laps.
Yeah, I wouldn't like to call it here, actually, between the three of them, and this is going to be a very exciting battle. At the moment, for me, Jared's looking incredibly strong.
Shoemaker, a specialist runner, always wants to take on the likes of Tim Don.
He's always a great runner, and it's fun. And you know, when you go out and get off the bike and you just try and run as hard as you can. So I'd love to have a fun run race with him, and I know there'll be other people with us, though. It won't just be him.
Well, this is a real mental test as well as a physical one. Shoemaker it is, in the lead for the first time. Tim Don on his shoulder, and Courtney Atkinson having a little bit of a breather. But remember, Annie, that Shoemaker and Don very quick over the second lap. They've got another 2 to go.
Yeah, maybe they've had to do a little bit too much work, and that's going to show when they come down to the last kilometre. And at the moment, I don't think you can separate the three of them, Patrick.
Well, what a class-leading group we have. Don, of course, the world champion in 2006. Shoemaker, the current duathlon champion. And Courtney Atkinson of Australia, second in London last year. He'll be desperate to go one better this year. But who is going to be on top of the podium?
It's very difficult to decide at the moment. Tim looks like he's putting in a huge amount of effort, but that is just his running style. You know, as I said earlier, he's run incredibly well over 10K on the road this year, and he's got all the form.
Certainly efficiency-wise, Shoemaker and Atkinson look to be a step ahead of Tim Don. And a little burst from Tim Don. You can see the shoulders tighten. Courtney Atkinson's gone with him. Shoemaker starting to feel the pace. This could be a key moment in the London Triathlon.
Yeah, it certainly looks like it is. I think Shoemaker's just dropping off slightly there. Tim grimacing there. It looks like he's kind of really hanging on. And for me at the moment, I think Atkinson's looking quite relaxed.
Don leading the way. Still a lap to go for the men. Not the case for the women. Helen Jenkins into the XL Arena for the last time. What a superb performance from her. First out of the water. She did get caught on the bike, but she played her game to perfection. And here she is cruising into the finish. She's run away from Liz Blatchford and Jodie Stimpson. And Helen Jenkins takes the London Triathlon yet again in some style.
Oh yeah, she's so relaxed, isn't she? She just looks so strong. A class above the rest, I think.
Jodie Stimpson, 30 seconds behind out of the water, and she gets a little closer, but it's second place for her.
Helen, many congratulations. You've done it again.
Hi, that was fantastic. Thank you. It's very quick and still a bit out of breath. It was a great race today. I felt really good in the swim, and on the bike I felt good for a while, and then the group caught me and kind of kept going. But on the run it was really tough, but yeah, I'm really glad I managed to do it today. It's fantastic. There's a great crowd and so much support, so thank you for everyone for shouting for me. I love racing in London. It's such a great course.
Well done today.
Thank you.
Great run by Jenkins, and while the women enjoy the fact that they finished, the men still fighting it out on the course. And the break we saw from both Don and Courtney Atkinson, not decisive, but certainly effective. And Shoemaker now will have to do something spectacular to get back on terms.
Yeah, I think at this stage in the run, the fact that he's dropped off is showing that he's not quite as strong as the two front runners, and I'd be surprised to see him back up there. I think the race is between these two right now.
The shoulders of Tim Don still rocking and rolling with less than 1.5 kilometres to go. No change in the body language from Courtney Atkinson. My goodness, for a man who dropped off a sensational form earlier in the season, he's come back well.
He certainly has come back very well, and right now this is going to be a bit more of a mental battle, I think, than anything else, because I think the two are as good as one another.
Well, I think Atkinson is now trying out Tim Don. A little look over his shoulder at the Englishman, and he suddenly put his foot down, and a gap of maybe 4 or 5 paving stones has opened up between them. It doesn't sound much, but it's very, very difficult to close it down. Don't worry about the runner in black. He's a back marker. He's been lapped by the rest of the field, running exceptionally well, but he's not in the race. Atkinson, on the other hand, is he heading for his first London win, having been runner-up last year?
Yeah, right now he's come right into form in this race. He really has. He's looking better now at the finish than actually at the beginning.
And what a good feeling when you put your foot down and you see the gap open. Had Don stayed with him, it would have been a different matter altogether. So the leading three now with 45 metres between them. Shoemaker in third place. There's no one really threatening that, but he's not going to catch Atkinson. The Australian is flying. 4 times junior champion in Australia. 30 years old now from Queensland. He competed in the last Olympic Games. He's desperate to compete in 2012, and on this sort of form, he's going to be a medal contender.
Yeah, he's taken a bit of a dip in form just recently. At the beginning of the year, he won 2 World Cups, and I think he's just coming back into form just in time now for the World Championship final in September in Hungary.
So he's got to wind his way round the arena before he can claim victory, keeping a careful eye on those behind him. What a good decision it was to make the flight from Geneva to London. He only booked the flight on Thursday. This is what you might call a last-minute entry. Maybe he'll make a habit of it, because there's no doubt he is going to claim the title in London for 2010. Second in 2009, the winner in 2010. What a supreme run from him. Tim Don, all the effort, just didn't quite have the legs in the end. Shoemaker, an exceptional runner, but not quite quick enough today to catch Courtney Atkinson, and Hayes, who did so much of the work on the bike, a creditable fourth.
Congratulations. Hey, you said you weren't sure what sort of shape you're in. Cracking is the answer to that question.
Yeah, look, to the guys, I did play my cards very, very conservative throughout the whole race, because I didn't know, I honestly didn't know where I'd be, and you know, it's a great race, it's a big race, and second last year, first this year, I'm pretty stoked.
Tim, what an epic battle.
Oh, it was awesome out there, you know. Jared and Courtney, I think the top 5 in the world, so world-class field, and, you know, to be in and amongst them, you know, in my hometown, I'm loving it. I had a great day out there. You know, you can't win them all, but bloody hell, I would have loved to have won here, but I tried.
Thanks for the entertainment today, Tim. Second place, congratulations.
Enjoyed it as well. Cheers, man.
Stuart Hayes just off the podium today, but he made the runners work for the victory.
My aim was to come here today to really give it to everyone on the bike, and when we all came together, I knew that was time to attack, and I went for it. Got cool, went again. The way you think when you're getting away is you've got to think to yourself there is no run, and just hope when you put your shoes on you've got some running legs.
Well, that's exactly what the remainder of the field have had to do. 13,500 people. Plenty of superheroes out there today, and amongst the celebrities, Jenson Button and Vernon Kay, who certainly caught the triathlon bug this weekend.
To see the professionals doing it, I mean, if you can't get inspiration from them, then God help you.
Celebrations on the podium. Tim Don happy with his second place. Courtney Atkinson, the man on top form. 1 hour, 49 minutes and 3 seconds for the Olympic distance triathlon here in London. A famous win for him. A second win for Helen Jenkins, and in some style. She was in a class of her own today to beat Stimpson and Blatchford down into second and third placings. This the penultimate round of the Super Series with 1 to go. Jackie Slack leads the women's standings, 260 points ahead of Jodie Stimpson. Heather Jackson in third. And it's all to play for in Bryn Buck on the 19th of September. In the men's standings, Mark Jenkins has the lead, just marginally ahead of Tim Don, and Worthington in there in third. It's going to be a cracking finale.
Well, this is a race that always promises the best of everything. The biggest fields, the highest profile celebrities, and fascinating elite races. And today it's delivered on all levels. Well, if you've enjoyed what you've seen, why not sign up? And next year you could be part of the biggest triathlon festival in the world. See you soon.